Well, it's that time again. Nothing says Shopify Summer Editions like some mercury and some interactive water. Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Now, if you're new around here, Shopify releases what is called Shopify Editions every single summer and every single winter. We have our first few editions here that were nothing really important. Then, the biggest edition in a long time was Summer 23 Editions, Imagine here, which introduced for the first time Shopify Magic, Shopify AI, and Shopify Sidekick. Then we had Foundations. This was winter editions, and it was okay. Then there was summer editions, once again called Unified. It was pretty good. And then we just had the boring edition, Shopify Winter Editions 2024. And it was pretty interesting. It was called the boring edition because it kind of looked boring, but the overall theme of boring editions was to fix on all these tiny little updates that needed fixing to make the platform cohesive and work really well while not introducing anything major. And now we have Horizon, Shopify Summer 2025, and this is actually a pretty big deal. Now, with summer and winter editions being released every few months, the general theme of these is that summer editions is big, flashy, bold, new products. What's new? Look at us. While winter editions is the fixer-up. Anything that's broken, anything that's not super flashy, that's done in winter editions. So here we are, summer 25. The new edition that's released is called Horizon. Let's take a look. So we'll grab it off the shelf here. What are these, records or albums? We'll open. Let's see what it does. Very, very nice. I love interaction. I love interactivity. So this is always fun because I'm a child. I love playing with the water elements. And it does look very summery. So let's start our deep dive. Every edition says it's about 150 updates right here at the top, but this edition doesn't really feel like 150 updates. It feels like maybe there's 15 major updates. And honestly, if I counted them up, I don't even think I'd be able to get to 150 here. Anyway, this is a big additions. There are major new updates to the platform, and that's the point of summer editions. So this may look good, but I have a lot to say about these updates. So let's introduce them, let's do a deep dive, and let's go all through this together. Now, before we begin, a major theme of this editions is AI, and this is coming off of a very recent report and a very recent leaked memo from the CEO, Toby, which basically laid out that AI is the future of Shopify. Shopify is all in on AI if it wasn't before. And basically, Toby was saying that he likes AI more than he likes golden retriever puppies. Everything to do with the platform, everything to do with employees, and everything coming to the platform is going to be heavily influenced by AI, almost to the point where it sounds like Shopify might even transition to being an AI company. It's an e-commerce company, but it's so in on AI. This is basically what his internal, now leaked AI manifesto was saying. Jumping back into Summer Editions 2025, we see AI in full blast here. Because just taking a look back, Shopify Sidekick, Shopify Magic, Shopify AI was first introduced in Summer Editions 2023 here. And then ever since then, we saw update after update after update using AI, and now a huge update for summer 2025 editions. Okay, so let's dive into editions 2025. So as we can see, there's a lot going on here. On the left side of the page, we see all the major headlines, themes, and Sidekick, retail, POS, checkout. Marketing is huge, a huge update in marketing. There's always checkout updates. There's always new apps. There's some B2B, some shipping, some operations, developer stuff, which we won't really cover in this. We won't really cover B2B, and we won't really cover any developer stuff. We might take a quick look. And then there's a fun little game here at the bottom, which I'll be trying to set the high score in later on this Horizon drive. So this edition is called Horizon here, and this is because the biggest update of Shopify Summer Editions 2025 is this new thing called Horizon. So Horizon is Shopify's new design foundation, which harnesses the power of theme blocks, it harnesses the power of AI, it harnesses just a complete overhaul of basically the theme editor and themes to come. So Everything that we know about the old sort of theme editor in Shopify has kind of been redone with Horizon, with AI, so that we have a lot of fun new features. Here it says easily nest blocks into existing sections to create custom layouts. We can see we can create some eye-catching components like scrolling marquees edited with a click, customize product cards, add, remove, or drag and drop into your ideal section. Drag and drop is something that's always been teased for years and years and years and years. And Shopify has always had a bad reputation because their theme editor never had drag and drop. Another huge update that we haven't seen really ever before is that there are 10 brand new themes on the Shopify theme store. These are made and developed themes by Shopify, the developer, or maybe they're just made by Shopify developers using Shopify's AI. But there's 10 new ones, and this is really important. We can see them all here with the name at the bottom: Savor, Atelier, Ritual, Fabric, Tinker, Dwell, Pitch, Vessel, Heritage, Savior, and I'm going around and around and around. So these are free Shopify themes because they're made by Shopify. So all free themes that you see on the Shopify theme store that are free are made by Shopify because they technically would be included in the price of your Shopify plan. But this is a big deal because Shopify has had the same dozen free themes for the longest time. Half of them nobody used. They introduced one new one, maybe 1 or 2 editions ago, just one. And it was basically just taking the Dawn theme that everybody knows and pre-customizing it so you didn't have to customize it yourself. But it wasn't really a new theme. I made a whole video on that brand new theme. But here, these are 10 brand new themes working with the new AI, working with the new Horizon Foundation. Just a quick tip though, whenever you're looking for a new, a couple of things. So whenever you're looking for a new theme, try your very, very best to not look at the images within the theme. Because when you start your Shopify store, you will not have these same images. These themes are dolled up to make them look extremely good in these showcases, like any product. But remember, you are going to have your own images. You're going to have your own supplier images. How many images your supplier gives you, or how many images you can create, or what products you're selling look very, very different. So try your very best not to get so encompassed with the images, because obviously this red and this red and this black and this font and this theme all holistically go really, really well. But I don't think you're going to be selling this Japanese dipping sauce, right? So focus on more what the theme can do for you, gain some inspiration. A lot of these themes nowadays also have different theme styles. So this might be the fabric theme and it can look like this, but the fabric theme can have maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 different theme styles to help quicken your customization process. Moving right along, we continue to see some updates when it comes to Shopify Magic and Shopify AI and the new Shopify theme editor. This kind of all comes together. We can generate new blocks. So we can build theme blocks, just say what you want, and AI makes it real. And that's pretty crazy. So we can see a demonstration here. Large text filled with an image, and it creates this sort of block for our theme. We see another one here. Floating cards with a 3D tilt effect and shimmer on hover. That's pretty impressive. One more example here, an image slider with a before and after slider here, right? So this section here specifically, the before and after slider, is one of the most wanted and most coveted, prestigious maybe sections that you can add to a theme. A lot of people will buy a brand new theme just for that section. But then there are also apps like the section store where you can buy a single section and add a single section to your already existing theme. So I guess now with this new Horizon and this ability to use AI and Shopify Magic to generate a block and add it straight to your theme, those apps are probably going to maybe be out of business now. Third-party app developers, third-party theme developers, they're probably looking at this quite closely. And also when it comes to theme support, if you've ever talked to Shopify support, they are so hard-lined in the sand when it comes to anything custom code. If you add custom code, we can't look at it. If something breaks and you have custom code, we can't look at it. We're not going to look over your custom code that you edited. There's no way we're going to do that. So what if the AI generates a bunch of custom code like this and adds this section in our blog to our store, and that creates something to break? Can I then go get theme support? Is that included in my theme support? Do I just have to keep generating AI text over and over and over again until something actually works? So honestly, there's a lot of questions that are starting to form for me personally when I'm starting to see all these updates, but these are major updates. Another major update that's not super new, maybe it's pretty new. You know, it was found in Shopify, the Shopify change logs, and it was on pre-trials and these things for a long time, is the ability to just generate a full theme based on a single prompt. And this honestly confuses the heck out of me because as we can see here, we would describe the business, stylish, athleisure, and apparel for women, and it can make these sort of themes for you very quickly. Now, what I'm confused about here is when it comes to, is this a free theme? Is this a paid theme? Is this developed by Shopify? Is this developed by a third party? Or is it developed just by AI and none of those things count? Also, does this give me a theme license for my store? What if I make a theme over here and I want to move it to a different store? Do I need a theme license? Does this generate a theme license? What about third-party themes and theme support in these things? Is this an actual theme or is this a bunch of code? So this is sort of what comes to my head when I see these things. I'm definitely probably going to make a full video on generating themes like this, so subscribe for more if you'd like, but also a very large update. Here's an update for a better theme editor. The theme editor has a ton of built-in improvements so you can stay in the creative flow. I'm just gonna play this quick 2-minute video here that they've provided. You know, it's like when the substitute teacher rolls in the TV into the class and you guys just watch a movie. Let's play this 2-minute video to see what Shopify is telling us when it comes to the brand new or better, maybe just better theme editor.
With the latest updates to Shopify themes and the theme editor, it's now easier than ever to get what's in your head onto the web. With Horizon, our new theme foundation, it is all about flexibility. And with theme blocks, you now have over 30 components you can add and edit anywhere in your store. The new block picker makes it easy to see previews of your blocks before adding them. No more scrolling and guessing, just quick visual choices. So you can go from this, to this, to this, or even this. And when your imagination is really running wild and you can't find that perfect block, prompt the AI block generator to create whatever's on your mind. Like this, or this, and yes, even this. Reusable anywhere in your store and built with editable settings. Even the code is yours to tweak. More than ever, the editor experience is about staying in the creative flow. Start editing text just by clicking on it. See only the settings you need with conditional settings. Less clutter, more focus. And when you've assembled your dream section with all the settings dialed in, you can reuse it across your store with copy and paste. For design that's not just beautiful but also effective, we've optimized everything top to bottom for the buying journey, with engaging storytelling sections to really show off your products, and a redesigned predictive search for faster results. Interactive product cards that let shoppers explore all your product images and even quick add to cart. And a streamlined design for the cart drawer helps buyers see what matters most. Welcome to the future of your online store, where creativity meets conversion. How will you express your brand?
Wow, isn't that just fantastic? So we see a lot of things with the new theme editor, and it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, this is kind of revolutionizing a lot of things that we've known about Shopify, how to create a website on Shopify, how to use sections and blocks, where to get those sections and blocks. Everything that we've kind of known for, years and years and years and years is now sort of changing, and I don't think this is going to stop the AI features being built straight into Shopify. My biggest concern with all this AI being pumped into the platform is, number one, AI costs someone something down the line. And there has been, because we follow Shopify so closely on this channel, I'm a fellow Shopify entrepreneur, I've been doing this for almost a decade and now I teach, is that there has been rumblings about which AI features are going to be found on which Shopify plans. Because again, these AI features cost someone something somewhere, whether it's the hard drives or the servers needed or the energy needed to produce. It's not free. So hopefully, maybe the best case scenario is that Shopify gives us all these AI tools and maybe all of the plans go up a smidge. The worst case scenario, I think, would be that all these fancy AI features are only included on maybe the Shopify plan or the advanced plan or the plus plan, which kind of wouldn't make sense, because if you're doing a full site redesign, big, massive established businesses usually don't undergo full gigantic site redesigns, right? So, if you have a big brand, your day-to-day is a lot of fulfillment. Your day-to-day is a lot of marketing. Your day-to-day is a lot of troubleshooting anything that goes wrong and planning forward. Creating a website from scratch, creating a brand new theme with AI, that's sort of more tailored to people who are building their sites for the first time. Tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of businesses also use legacy themes where they've built a theme and it works perfect and they put a lot of hard work into it, and now it's not even like supported and you can't even download that theme anymore. But that doesn't really matter to the business because they've built a high converting website that makes sense, that's branded, that does everything they need for them, and that business can focus on marketing, that business can focus on fulfillment and everything that comes with that. So again, this is sort of just changing everything that we know about Shopify. I suppose everyone needs to sort of use the new theme editor. And if you have the ability to generate brand new blocks and sections from scratch on any theme, as we can see, it's literally called Horizon here in the corner. What does a theme actually mean? What is the difference between a third-party theme and a Shopify theme? What is the purpose of third-party theme developers? What is the purpose of the hundreds and hundreds of paid third-party themes on the Shopify theme store and all of the theme developers and Shopify partners that Shopify relies on and has relied on, if we're getting all these AI features and simple sections into any theme? Is this going to be paid? Is this going to be included? Is there going to be charges to using the AI? Because we have paid third-party themes in the theme store, hundreds and hundreds of them, but now we're saying we can generate any sort of categories and blocks with AI block generation, one-click editing. We can copy and paste these things. We can have any section that we want. So what's the point of section apps that are found on the App Store? So this is a really large update. It's not so much super impactful for your store today because there's two types of merchants, right? There's merchants who are starting for the first time and they need to create a website. This could be very handy to them. But then there are merchants in their stores that have a developed business for a very, very long time and they don't want to do a full redesign. They don't need to do a full redesign. That's not in their game plan. That's not how they grow or scale. So this is a massive update, and there's a lot of other updates that I want to get to, so we'll move on from here. But I'm really excited to see what happens in winter editions, what happens next summer editions, how this all plays out, because this is an update that not only affects merchants, brand new merchants, but it affects theme developers, it affects theme support, it affects free versus paid themes, it affects pricing, it affects what's included on different plans. It affects how everybody's used to doing things, how things are going to happen in the future. If something breaks on your website because you're creating AI generated blocks, all that's doing is adding code to your theme's code. But is a Horizon theme even a theme anymore with theme code? And that definitely changes what theme support can and cannot cover, because they've always said no code. Like if you change the code, we cannot help you. That's sort of the same thing with theme developers and third-party theme support. So this is a massive, massive update. For me, at first glance, it's like, wow, super exciting. What an update, what an additions. But then wait a minute, what are all these other things going to affect? So that's sort of the way Shopify plays. It makes a major update and then it has to fix everything, probably in winter editions. It makes a major update, it has to clarify a lot of things. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see when this is implemented. We'll see what countries or languages this is implemented into first, what plans this is implemented into first. But it's a massive update nonetheless. Moving along, we have Sidekick. Of course, Sidekick is Shopify's major, biggest, baddest AI product. It was first introduced in summer 2023 editions. It was then released in full. And now I believe we're going to see some Sidekick updates every month, every editions by far. So it says a smarter, more powerful Sidekick. Sidekick now uses multi-step reasoning and goes deeper to provide data-driven strategies based on analysis of your business. We can see an update here that says Shopify Sidekick now speaks 20 different languages. So Sidekick is available in all supported admin languages. And that's one of the big things with Shopify is they release a major feature, but it's only released in a specific country. It's only released in a specific language. And then it takes edition after edition, month after month, year after year for it to maybe be rolled out to all languages, all countries. And so a big update here is that it's now available in 20 different languages. And we'll probably just see this update move up and up and up over time. On the right side here, we have an interesting update that says Sidekick image generation is out. Generate visuals using a few keywords directly in the admin. So this is talking about image generation, AI image generation. This is where we are with AI in today's day and age. Generate an image of a luxury desert retreat with an infinity pool in the Palm Springs desert, and it can create an image like this. Maybe this is your home page. Maybe this is a collection page. Maybe this is a part of your branding or your strategy. The problem with AI, specifically with an e-commerce website, Shopify website selling products, is in today's day and age where it comes to, visual creation with AI is awesome. Just 2 years ago, we didn't even have that. We just had content, and now we have full image generation. So who knows where it's going to go to next? The problem with AI in today's day and age with a Shopify store is you kind of have to really go all in on your entire website with AI generated images or none at all. Because the problem is, especially with, collections or blog images that are right next to each other, if you have a real image next to an AI generated image, and they're getting really, really good, there's no doubt about it, next to a real image that maybe you took yourself, next to another AI image, your brand story and your brand looks very incohesive. So the way that you can kind of get around this is you can create only AI generated images every single time, but then you are selling a physical product. You're not selling AI generated images or paintings. That's a digital product if you'd like. But some person is going to buy this bag or buy this shirt or buy this shirt or buy this shirt. You can tell that this image right here on the left side is an AI generated image. And it looks sort of good in this sense because all of these images are stacked beside each other and they're all meant to represent the same brand, the same tone, the same style. But these are AI generated images of a physical product. So it really, really stands out if this is done incohesively. If you have a real image next to an AI image, next to a real image, next to maybe customer submitted pictures from your review section on your product page, it all starts to go a little incohesive. So, this is great. This isn't really, a Sidekick Shopify specific thing. This is just where we are in today's day and age, no matter what AI tool you're using, right? We have this ability to generate images, and Sidekick is an AI tool given to us on Shopify, found right on the Shopify platform, not external of our Shopify account. And so Sidekick is meant to look at your account, look at your store, look at your sessions and sales and orders and FAQs and discounts and products, and it's meant to help you analyze your account specifically and these sort of things. But then we pair it sort of with image generation, and this is sort of just a broad-based AI generation tool that's added to Sidekick's toolkit. But it's really interesting to see how people are using this. It's really interesting to see when half of a website is AI generated and the other half isn't. So that's why I kind of said you have to kind of go all in when you're making a cohesive brand online with AI or not AI. And if any of your products look different, or there's a little bit of text that's not written correctly by AI, or there's a human model but maybe there's a finger missing or something like that because it's an AI generated image, that's where we are in today's AI generated image generated landscape. And so it's a cool update to see. It's really cool to see Sidekick progressing because in summer 2023, it was kind of teased and then we didn't hear about it for like a year. And then last year's summer edition came out and nothing really came out about it. It was at the very, 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 very bottom of the page with such few updates. So it's interesting to see now, 2 years later, Sidekick is getting smarter with this somewhat interesting multi-step reasoning. I don't really know what that means for me. Speak 20 different languages, see it expanding. That can definitely affect and help a lot more merchants all over the place. Image generation, right on right on the admin using a little sidekick button here. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it go with your brand? Does it not go with your brand? Interesting to see these updates coming in, but those are just my thoughts on sort of AI and Shopify in today's day and age because we follow these things so quickly. And if there's any other AI or sidekick updates, I'll be sure to cover it in depth on this channel. A few more things just on Sidekick here in the Sidekick bar. Sidekick on mobile. Sidekick is now available on the Shopify mobile app to help you complete tasks on the go. And Sidekick screen share now has voice chat. So simply share your screen and speak with Sidekick anytime to talk through tasks in the admin. So again, this is sort of what we see in today's day and age, which with AI, image generation, video generation, being able to speak to it in live time. Interesting to see it come to the Shopify platform with their own AI. Okay, let's move on to retail. Now, the biggest update with retail is that the version 10 of the POS app came out. And this is sort of what it looks like. There's all sorts of little updates here, like custom branding on the POS, shipping carryout in one checkout. And these updates are new, but they're not being launched right now in summer editions. These are updates that have been seen and have been updated through the Shopify changelog. And that's why on this channel, we do a once a month Shopify changelog deep dive to see all these updates as fast as possible. So what we're seeing here is obviously updates for your POS, your in-person device. This is your retail device. It can be anything. It can be an iPad. Shopify has hardware that you can buy. You can rent from it. This is what's called the smart grid on the left. And then we see sort of similar features that your Shopify admin has right on your in-person device. This is a big deal for Shopify because this isn't a minor update to the old version. This is a brand new version. So, version 10 comes out and then it's 10.1.02, 10.2.10. This isn't one of those small updates. This is a brand new version. And with it came a lot of new updates if you have an in-person device. What we're seeing here on the left side compared to this is if you had an in-person device or you're scaling up to maybe have your own in-person device, this is the POS terminal, which is usually run on some sort of easy piece of hardware like an iPad or something. And this is what you would see on your side, or you can carry it around. You can flip it around to the customers, no big deal. But this is just kind of how you manage everything that's on the admin, your in-person device in your in-person store. This thing on the left side is the customer's view. And this doesn't run the POS version 10. This runs the customer view version 2. And so it's kind of interesting to see if you're ever wondering about how in-person locations do it, or if you're interested in opening your own location. You have one device behind maybe the counter that you would have, and then you can also have this other piece of hardware that runs a different piece of software for tapping customers' card, inputting their information. Tips can go here. And then there's also a lot of mini updates like uploading your logo here, uploading some images here. The receipt can print sometimes from these devices, and you can edit the way the receipts and your branding look. Your branding would be all over the place. It would be on the customer point of view. It would be on the in-person point of view here. And this is sort of what's coming to retail. Another interesting update that happened last month was the process to mix fulfillment orders in a single transaction. So customers can take items home while shipping others. This is called ship and carry out in one checkout. So say you only have this sandal in person and the person can maybe carry this one out, but in the same order, maybe this one will be shipped to the home. And so that was a smaller but bigger update for the POS coming to version 10 of the POS update. Again, we can see here though, AI generated image. This is probably done with AI, Shopify's AI background changer. And so we can see here, it just sort of makes my brain brainstorm. Is the future of shopping online, is the future of e-commerce just every single image that we see an AI generated image? Are gone the days of having a photo shoot with real models or just having your product on hand and just taking a picture of the live view of the product, maybe just on a white Bristol board in the background? Are those days all completely gone? Because imagine you had this image of your Tower Sandal shoe next to a real life image of some other shoe, maybe on your shoe collection of your Shopify store. Right beside each other, in my opinion, they would look absolutely terrible. Same with this shirt. Imagine you had a full page, pages and pages, 6, 7 pages of men's shirts, This one says Caban linen shirt. But then beside that one, you have a model of a real person wearing the shirt, posing for the camera. Below that, maybe you have an image of just the shirt that you got from maybe just your supplier. If these three images were beside each other, that would look terrible. So we're in a day and age here where I keep saying you kind of have to go all in on AI or not use it at all, or maybe we're just not there yet. Got to think about your brand, your holistic brand. When you're a brand and you're using just simply multiple suppliers of something, and those suppliers give you completely different looking images and you put them together on your collection page and it looks terrible. Well, this is sort of the same thing with AI, right? An AI image, a real life image, and then just a picture of the product all defines very different brand story. It all defines a very different look for your brand. So it's really interesting to see these AI updates, but this is just the retail updates section here. Some smaller updates for the retail section here before we move on is that you can now capture SMS marketing opt-ins straight from your retail device, letting customers opt in during their checkout in person, which is interesting. You also have, we always see sort of updates like this, smart search, semantic search updates coming to the admin, coming to the POS. That says find products faster and more intuitive, improved handling, typos, spacing, alternative spellings. Another really interesting update is that cash rounding here on the POS is being updated. So automatically round cash transactions to the nearest coin increment to accurately process sales and reporting in select countries with small coins, because some countries all over the world don't have pennies. Some countries do have pennies. Some countries round up. Some countries round down. Some countries round up to the nearest 5 cents. Some countries round down to the nearest 10 cents or the whole dollar, maybe in Sweden or something. And then just today, there was news out about the US getting rid of their penny. So a little interesting update there coming to the POS. There's a bunch of countries that have this cash rounding feature. If anybody comes into your POS and they actually want to give you cash nowadays, I don't remember the last time I used cash, but an interesting idea there. And we can see the rest of the minor updates there. All right, so let's move on to checkout. We have an update here that says flat rates for split shipping, where it charges a customer a single flat rate when fulfilling from multiple locations to reduce unexpected shipping costs. This has always been a problem for Shopify because people have different locations. They use different suppliers. And when a customer combines items together and they're from different locations and they're from different suppliers, for example, it can create very strange looking prices for checkout for the customer. The customer doesn't care which suppliers are coming from, but they do care about how much they're being charged as shipping. And so Shopify always sort of updates this over the years of like, is it going to combine it? Is it going to show two different totals and these sort of things? So an update here just says flat rates for split shipping. A single flat rate will be shown instead of combining, instead of finding the best, instead of adding them up and all these complicated formulas when there's multiple locations. I think that could actually help simplify a lot of things because it's just such a hassle. We all know shipping is such a massive thing when running our Shopify stores, and configuring shipping rates, especially when you have multiple locations and you're trying to consolidate all these things nicely for the checkout experience for the customer. Just a little update there. This one on the right is big and bold, and Shopify really wants us to look at this Shopify checkout in role blocks. Let customers buy physical products virtually with the first checkout integration into Rollblock. So here's Rollblocks. I don't know. I've never played Rollblocks. I don't know much about Rollblocks, but basically I guess this is Roblox, and this Roblox character is looking at this Roblox shirt and they can buy the Roblox shirt in the Roblox game. I don't really know. But basically, if you click more details here, there's a new app that says Roblox in the Shopify App Store. And what it just essentially looks like is just another sales channel. So, depending on your brand, depending on your target audience, depending on what you're selling, if you wanted to expand to another sales channel, sales channels can be anything. They can be the shop channel, they can be your online store, they can be your in-person location, they can be Google, they can be Facebook, they can be TikTok or whatever. A new sales channel, I suppose, which is pretty funny, is Roblox, if you're interested in that. Smaller updates here include Shop Pay Installments is now here in Canada. Offer buy now, pay later in Canada to increase conversion. So Shop Pay Installments, well, kind of like it just said, is a way to offer customers buy now, pay later options, or buy now, pay in 3 increments, buy now and pay in 4 increment styles. And so this is offered through Shopify Payments because, as we can see, it's called Shop Pay. Shop Pay is only found in Shopify Payments. And if you have Shopify Payments, you can enable Shop Pay, but you can also enable Shop Pay installments. Just be careful because Shop Pay installments is a different way of checking out than your Visa card, than traditional credit cards, than debit cards, and also Shop Pay. And this is sometimes called SPI, but the credit card rate fees that are charged per payment method are very, very different. And SPI actually has one of the highest credit card rate fees charged to you taken from your payout. So this is all new and exciting. It's sort of like, if you enable maybe like American Express as your credit card and a customer pays with Visa, it'll deduct maybe like 2%. But then if somebody pays by American Express, it'll deduct maybe like 5% or 6% plus 50 cents on top of that, just because the credit card is a premium card or just because they're paying from an international location, right? So just be careful with that, but that's basically all that is. It's interesting to see that update there. Faster checkout loading, let customers enter their details almost 2 seconds faster. Every single editions, we see this. Technology improves, servers improves. Every single, this is a good update, but it's just every single editions, Shopify always says this. And it's a little hard to find information on why or how without getting too technical. But a little update here that says that. This one's an interesting one. Thank you and order status upgrade guide. Upgrade your thank you and order status pages using a guide that tailors to your store's app and existing customizations. Because actually, it was quite a long time ago. I swear it was before winter editions that just passed. But there was a big update when it came to thank you and order status guide. So the thank you page and the order status page is the page that shows after the checkout. So, person lands on your site, they go to the product page, they go to the collection page, they go to the cart, then they go to the checkout, and then after the checkout is the thank you and the order status pages. And there was a big upgrade that you had to do. And this upgrade also included reinstalling if you had any pixels or if you have any apps or if you had any tracking on these pages, because the thank you and the order status pages were getting upgraded. So this is interesting to see, but I swear that was long ago. It wasn't like last month. It was months and months and months ago. I have to check. I did a full video on that to try and help as many people as possible, but this thank you and order status upgrade guide kind of came like a year late, Shopify. Anyway, you also have delivery options for unavailable items. So you can give customers more options when items are available at their default address, such as changing the delivery address or a pickup location. Smaller update there. All right. A strange, consistent theme that we are starting to see addition to addition is Shopify actually selling physical products themselves to anyone looking at this. Like last edition was winter editions where it was called boring editions, even though it wasn't that boring. They were selling a boring t-shirt. Now, if we click this, the fresh update sent. So it says Horizon, it's in the theme, air freshener. This has nothing to do with your Shopify stores. If I click this, it's literally like a store where you can buy random things. That's actually kind of cool, So if you're interested in any of these things, they literally are selling their own products now, I suppose. But that's all that is. That has nothing really to do with anything, but an interesting trend now, 2 editions in a row, they're trying to sell us products. Okay. Some other interesting updates here to the checkout is this area that says enhanced fraud prevention. This one is carbon neutral shipping and checkout. This is exclusive to Plus. The Planet app isn't exclusive to Plus, but this little section is exclusive to Plus, so we're not going to cover that. And this PCI DSS v4 compliant checkout. Get peace of mind knowing Shopify checkout features include pixels and express checkouts meet the latest mandatory security requirements of April 1st, 2025. Nothing to really dive into there. But this one's interesting. Enhanced fraud prevention, reduce chargebacks with AI powered fraud models on Shopify payments that automatically authenticate risky transactions. I read over this article just briefly, and there was a lot of technical jargon that just talked about the speed at which Shopify payments checks customers out, but also how Shopify offers, these tools that enhance fraud protection reducing chargebacks for you, because if you're using Shopify payments, you're not just using a payment processor, you're using all of the information that millions of Shopify stores using Shopify payments and what those tools learn specifically about fraud. So as we know, if you're running your Shopify stores and you're using Shopify payments, there is already fraud analysis tools and suggestions. And so this article kind of already just talks about, enhancing those. There's no new features coming to the platform. It's just learning models, new learning intuition and data to help you reduce chargebacks. And it's just another incentive, I suppose, and a little bit of an advertisement for Shopify to tell people to use Shopify payments if you have that available to you. And then we have a really strange block here that I've never seen before. What is this? It's looks like a potato in an ice cube. Update is unlocked on June 12th. Check back for this update to be revealed. Now, this is pretty far down on the page. I mean, it's on the 4th tab, and it's not at the top of the checkout tab. We have a smaller update here that says more ways to offer Apple Pay as a payment method while supporting your custom checkout experience. So this, I believe, is showing Apple Pay in itself aside from your payment gateway. These are credit cards given to you in your payment gateway. Apple Pay used to be found within that. But because this is separate, perhaps this is just a way that you can add Apple Pay as a payment method, which I'm pretty sure you were already able to do. But anyway, this is just talking about different ways you can offer payment methods at checkout. But I've never seen this before. In all the years that we've been doing Shopify, and I've been running Shopify stores for almost a decade now, I've never seen an addition that had an update that is to be unlocked at a separate time. So this is kind of intriguing. I definitely want to see the potato, but it just leads me to believe, why? What is time sensitive? Maybe what's not ready? Was something supposed to be ready and not ready? I have no idea, but I'll make a video of this when this comes out, so don't worry. And we'll all see the potato together. Moving down to global here, we have a very big update here that says Shopify Payments is now available in 16 more countries. It's now available in Lithuania, Poland, Norway, Latvia, Hungary, Estonia, Malta, Croatia, Greece, Slovenia, Cyprus, Bulgaria, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Gibraltar, and Mexico. Okay, so Mexico, that one shouldn't be thrown in there because a few months ago, Mexico, here we go. We got some interactive flags here. Whoa, okay. So Mexico was added to Shopify Payments a few months ago. So, Shopify will throw anything in here to make this amazing. These other countries are brand new though. And it's really interesting because, Shopify Payments is how checkouts are confirmed, how customer payment is sent to you. Then also how your payouts work, how your payouts go to your bank account, the timing and the speed. And then also, if you're using Shopify Payments, you have access to a lot more products on Shopify than if you weren't using Shopify Payments, and if you were using a third-party gateway. One of them is Shop Pay. We can see right here. Another one is the Shop Channel. Another one is SPI, Shop Pay Installments, and all these sort of things. Another one is the fraud analysis tools, which we were just saying. So it's interesting. I really like these flags, number one. But number two is that the countries in which Shopify Payments is available in hasn't updated in years and years and years. It was always the biggest ones, which were quite vast. But it was interesting to see in the changelog a few months ago, Mexico be added to Shopify Payments. There was no sort of indications that more countries were being added. It just had an update just for Mexico, which, may have been, it's in North America, Canada has it, United States has it. Why not Mexico, But now Shopify Payments is available for a lot more countries. This is very, very fun. And because if you didn't have Shopify Payments, you have to rely on third-party gateways. Third-party gateways always cost more money because you have to connect the third-party gateway to your Shopify account. And also you lose out on a lot of other tools like Shop Pay, the Shop Channel, Shopify Pay Installments. So now that this is expanded, it's very interesting. So welcome to anybody who's in these countries. That is probably a big sign of relief, being able to use Shopify Payments. If you are in one of these countries, it's highly recommended to use Shopify Payments because it is cheaper every single time, just because you have to pay an extra fee to connect a third-party gateway to Shopify. And so if you use Shopify Payments, you're not connecting a third-party gateway anymore, you're using Shopify's internal payment gateway. And so every single transaction will be cheaper and you have eligibility to more products. So that's really fun to see. We have an update over here that says selling for multiple business entities exclusive to Plus. We don't cover anything Plus really on this channel or anything developer. So if you're looking for developer or you're looking for B2B, that's also Plus, and you're looking for anything Plus, we don't really cover that on this channel. So we're not going to look into that one. This one's an interesting update. Payouts in multiple currencies. You can reduce foreign exchange fees and get paid out to 8 currencies with Shopify payments now across Europe and Australia. So this is really interesting because if a customer pays in one currency and it is paid out to your payout account in another currency, there is another fee. There's the transaction fee to do this transaction, to change one currency to another currency. The only country that had the ability to do this without any fees was actually Canada. You had the ability for the longest time to, if you were using Shopify payments in Canada, you had the ability to set up a Canadian bank account and a USD bank account so that Canadian payouts would go to the Canadian bank account and USD payouts would go to the USD bank account, and there would be no transaction fees associated with that, extra transaction fees. So we can see that Shopify payments is really establishing itself here. It's really, it's expanding to more countries. It's expanding to more currencies. I suppose with this new country update, more currencies is needed. But the idea here is that you can accept multiple payments without that conversion fee every single time, and that just saves you a lot more money, right? An update that was introduced a few months ago, but is right at the top here, is duty collection and checkout for all plans. Now available for all plans. Improve transparency for your customers by collecting duties, taxes, and tariffs in checkout. As we know, today's day and age, with everything going on in the world, tariffs, duties, taxes, import duties, all this stuff is kind of a major stress for customers and e-commerce and shipping. Who's going to pay? How much are you going to pay? Is there going to be any surprises at checkout? And these sort of things. So this is an update because this was actually a feature Shopify had, but it was only available to higher plans for a very, very long time. In the wake of everything, it looks like the Shopify was just like, okay, you know what, we'll give it to all plans, and that can be found in your checkout settings in your admin. With this update comes a few more. Duties included in product prices, embedded duties and taxes in product prices to eliminate surprise fees in checkout for international sales. So you're increasing your product prices, but you're reducing any surprises down the conversion funnel. Delivery duty paid for cross-border shipping. This is for USA only, where you can purchase, if you can purchase shipping labels. You can also purchase delivery duty paid labels for DHL only and DHL Express from Shopify shipping. So that, when a customer comes in and they pick up their package, there's a big custom fee on it that they have to pay and able to get their package. And then there's this interesting thing that I haven't seen before. It's called tariffguide.ai. So to classify your products, you can find the product classification in minutes by simply providing a description and the country of origin to determine the HS code and the duty rate. So this is interesting. So it just talks about HS code. So in the Shopify admin, you should be classifying your product with its HS code. HS codes aren't really hard to find. It's just a global group of products into a single code, so people understand what's tariffed, what's not tariffed, what it's classified as, what's its tax rate is. And you can do that right on the admin. And then a few editions ago, Shopify came out with AI features on that admin to help with that classification. And that classification also helps put in some meta fields. That classification also helps, with search and discovery and these sort of things. But now this tariff guide AI helps to classify products. So if we open this, it just says find the right US tariff rate for your product. So describe the product you're importing. How about a dog toy? And the country of origin, let's just say, because we're using maybe a supplier and a lot of suppliers and things are made in China, let's type in China, right? So we're selling dog products or pet products on our Shopify store. Maybe we're using AliExpress or something, or a supplier, and they're found in China. So let's see what happens here. We click see the tariff rate, and here we go. So these are the HS codes. These numbers here, you see these random numbers. So this just groups things together for international shipping regulations, right? So we didn't really give much information here. So what category best describes your product? Rubber, textile, maybe plastic. Sure, let's go with this one. So that assigns its HS code, and now it'll probably be able to calculate any tariffs from a shipment that's coming from China to the US. And then you can see it sort of gives you this information, and this changes on the product, this changes on the origin. And so this leads people to, a lot of the time when you're using suppliers and these sort of things, you can also set where the shipment is coming from to avoid sort of these duties and these things. And then these duties and these rates are changing so fast in today's day and age. You know, there was a headline just the other day that said the US is stopping duties and tariffs on customer bound small parcels from China into the US to stop some of that sort of stuff. So this stuff, you know, is here to help you, but it also moves so quickly that you kind of just have to keep up with it. We see some local payment options here for the EU. You can offer more flexible ways to pay in Poland, Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, with more options like P24, Blick, Twint, Swish, and Mobile Pay. So local payment options are when you are targeting a specific country or a specific market, and that country or that market has very localized popular payment methods. You can add these to your checkout, because if you're targeting a specific region and they have their own popular payment method, you definitely want to add that payment method. And there's a bunch of these like P24, Blake, Twin, Swish, Mobile Pay, and they depend on the country you're selling to. And this will help your conversions at the end of checkout. Same thing with Klarna. Klarna is sort of the same thing. Let customers use Klarna on Shopify payments in Croatia, Cyprus, Estonia, and all these other countries. Interesting stuff there. And so this brings us to a really big update with regions and markets and market settings on the Shopify store. So it says you can create sub-markets from an existing region market, such as your Europe market for French buyers, and see all your edits in a graph view. This is sort of the graph view, but there's also another view. This is completely changing the way market settings is set up. Now, like the actual things that you configure within your Shopify admin to sell to different markets, that isn't changing. Like, do you collect tax here? Do you collect tax here? Is this catalog or this grouping of products the same price, or do you want to increase or decrease it depending on the market? Can you send to this market? What are your shipping rates for this market? Those sort of things aren't changing, but what is changing is where markets is found. The market settings are now found on the Shopify admin's like home panel instead of the settings tab. And there's also this like graph view and this list view, which is honestly a little bit difficult to use. I was playing around with it. Your market settings don't change or anything. So, but you do have to sort of relearn how to add these things to your markets, which honestly, I could have done without. This has been teased for a very, very long time, maybe last summer editions, and it's finally out. So there's a little bit of a learning curve with that. We also see customer accounts can be updated per market now, and that ensures logged in customers see the same country, the same language, and the same company location as their account pages. We see a lot of cookie preferences, privacy, marketing, region, laws for email marketing, these things. Simplified ID verification in Canada. Easily verify your identity to comply with Canada's financial regulations by taking a picture of yourself and your ID. So this is like maybe if you're verifying Shopify payments, apparently you can do it by like a simple selfie if you're in Canada. And then cookie banner and checkout. Have the option to capture cookie consent in checkout, even if shoppers skip your storefront. Consent audit log for GDPR. GDPR is a anti-spam like law, regulation, privacy, cookie preferences law for Europe. So you can easily log customer cookie consents and data sale opt-out decisions. So that's very important for European merchants, European customers. Cookie banner consent preferences. You can let customers quickly adjust their cookie preferences, improving customer trust. This was already here. I'm not sure what's new about this. Privacy consent on customer accounts, so you can stay compliant by collecting and honoring privacy consent on customer account pages. And email marketing consent by region, you can choose which customers have marketing opt-in pre-selected based on their country and leave it to Shopify's recommendations to make compliance a lot easier. Because what it's saying here is that like email marketing, SMS marketing has a lot of laws, anti-spam regulation, and these sort of things. And what makes it even more challenging is that it's very specific per country. And then that's also not only where you are based, but it's also where your customers are based. So say you have like 2,000 email subscribers and they're all based all over the world in so many different countries. It's hard to send one generic email blast to everyone because every single country kind of has its own laws and regulations when it comes to this. So Shopify added this recommendation page, and it also added this pre-selection based on the customer's country for marketing opt-ins. Sometimes it's mandatory, sometimes it's not mandatory, and these sort of things. So Shopify is helping us out there. We're actually almost at the end of the editions here. Again, we're not covering B2B and we're not covering developer stuff. And this drive is just a game, which I'm going to set a high score later, maybe in another video. So subscribe for that. And I'll give a little debrief on my thoughts on this editions while playing a game. But this is the marketing section here. So it says 1 discount for multiple savings. You can create a single discount that can be applied across products, orders, shipping with select discount apps. So in the picture, we can see that this summer 2025 discount code is applying an order discount and a free shipping discount in the same code. But this isn't an update to the Shopify admin. It's an update with apps. So if I click this button here, it shows 4 apps in which this update is done with, which is kind of funny. Nothing's really changing with Shopify, but if you want to use, and these are third-party apps, they're not Shopify made apps. So, we all know the limitations and things that the discount codes on the Shopify admin can and cannot do, what they can be combined with, what they can work with. But if you're interested in changing that, you can look at that. Updated Shopify QL segment editing. So Shopify QL segment editing is talking about customer segmentation. So in this picture, we have 3,178 customers. That's 100% of our customer base. And this is Shopify QL, and it's how you segment your customers. Obviously, segmenting customers by a lot of different things. We can see by currency here. We can see by credit here. We can see by, activity dates and these sort of things, location, orders, amount spent, subscriber preferences or not subscriber preferences, location, total spent. These are all things that you can segment your customer base by. And this really, really comes into play with email marketing, since we're in the marketing tab, because email marketing is very, very precise. And the way you take your email marketing really to the next level is through really active segments. And the way you do that is through Shopify QL. Shopify QL looks very crazy here. It sort of looks like code, but actually recently, or maybe not so recently, maybe in the last year, this is kind of all updated to be very simple, plain language. And then this especially comes into play with new Shopify AI features where you can kind of just tell the AI what you want it to segment, or you can write it in this Shopify QL segmentation editor here, and it'll kind of create this code for you to edit edit and create a nice little segment for you. It also says here there are new ready-to-use segmentation templates. So it's kind of like a theme template or a flow template. Quickly target customers with pre-built segmentations, because looking at this is obviously very intimidating. But segmentation is really important for email marketing. So you can use templates for common use cases like language preferences, purchase history, locations. And you can do a lot of things with segmentation. Marketing automation templates. Easily find the right marketing automation template to optimize your campaign with new search, sort, and filtering options. So it sounds like there's new search, sort, and filtering options, but I'm not sure if there's more marketing automations added. This is an interesting update here. It says knowledge base app for AI shopping. Optimize how your store shows up in Shopify chats by customizing the FAQ and AI agents can use to answer specific questions. So this is interesting because it's a new app by Shopify that was just released, and it's called Knowledge Base by Shopify. And it just kind of looks like you just kind of go and you answer a lot of questions about your brand, your products, and this tells the AI, because AI is found all over the place on your store, on the shop channel, all over the place, more information about your products, which is interesting because, Shopify's inbox and the quick answers on Shopify inbox was advertised that it was supposed to read your store and it can create these tailored questions to it. But now there's this new knowledge base app that came out where you're supposed to tell the system more about your brand. So that's a little bit of an interesting one. And then again, right down here, we see some retail segments, retail segmentation, create a geographic segment using plain language addresses like 151 O'Connor Street. 151 O'Connor Street is actually Shopify's first headquarters in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So that's why it's there. Instead of your retail location or latitude and longitude. Oh my gosh, what does that even mean? So retailing segments is kind of the same thing as like email subscribers. You could segment your customers based on their location, their proximity to your in-person location, how many times they visit your in-person location, what's their average order spend per visit of their in-person location. And so retail segmentation is really important, just like email segmentation. It's really funny how you can say latitude and longitude in case you have a shop in the middle of the Himalayan mountains or something. This Horizon Drive is the game we're going to play later. I'm going to drive and see what's going on there. But for now, let's continue on these updates. We can cancel email campaigns mid-send, so you can catch typos, broken links, delivery issues by canceling email campaigns even faster even after they've started sending. So this is interesting because Shopify like batches emails anyway. So like if you have 2,000 subscribers and you create a campaign, you click send, it doesn't go to 2,000 people right away. It goes to maybe like 300. What does that even say? That's supposed to say 300. It goes to maybe like 300 and it reads a lot of information like delivery issues, like key KPIs for those email lists. And if it passes these things, it'll then send another maybe like 300. And if it passes again, it'll send another 300. But say it sends 300 and all it's getting is can't delivers, emails being flagged by spam, people unsubscribing. This will stop the entire batch. So this kind of reminds me of how Shopify batches its emails, and it gives sort of us more control, to catch any typos or broken links, which is interesting. I feel like that should have been there already, but it's actually a really good feature. Customize the email padding and footer. We saw that in our changelog a few months ago. It's a meta field sync with forms. We also saw that in our changelog a few months ago, just some minor updates there. Just rounding out the marketing section of this edition. It's quite a long section, actually. It says there's a collabs mobile app for content creators. So this isn't a brand new app. This still uses the app called Collabs on the Shopify App Store. And it's just a way that you can work with influencers and these sort of things using the Collabs app on the Shopify admin. This is just saying there's a new mobile app for content creators, and that can be used to show detailed sales analytics, timely payment updates, and better product discoverability right on their phone from the new Collabs mobile app, okay? All right, we have a whole section here on the Shop app. Again, if you don't know what the Shop app is, it's Shopify's marketplace. It's like Amazon, it's like Etsy, 50, 100 million downloads in the app stores. But every single merchant on the Shop marketplace is a Shopify store. And you can also only access the Shop marketplace, obviously, with your Shopify store, but you also have to be using Shopify payments to access this. So it's another incentive to use Shopify payments, which is now being expanded to a lot more countries, which is cool to see. But the biggest thing that Shopify is advertising here for us is smarter recommendations in home feed. So you can reach new and existing customers through personalized recommendations that adapt based on real-time shopping activity. And this is sort of like what the customer would see. This is our customer, and this is maybe what they would see based on recommendations in their home feed. Shop channel is always going through major updates. We have an interesting one here that says online store syncs with Shop. So you can mirror your online store's product detail page on Shop with swatches and subscriptions. So here we can see subscription, and these are the swatches. And so now we can see that this is mirrored on the Shop channel. Here's the subscription. Here's the swatches. So it's mirrored in this way. It's interesting because like the Shop channel sort of gives the ability, and it's always sort of advertised itself to give the ability that you can customize your own mini shop store on the Shop channel. And now it's sort of like, don't worry about it. We'll do it for you. Here's the swatches. We'll mirror it. Here's the subscriptions. We'll mirror it in that sort of way. So it's kind of funny that way. Shopper curated collection. Shoppers can curate, share, discover, and collaborate with others on collections of saved products. Nothing really that big there, in my opinion, but interesting idea. So this is B2B, and we're really not going to go through any B2B stuff because B2B is plus. If you see anything that says B2B is only exclusive to Plus every single time. So we're just gonna skip that. We're gonna head down to shipping, and we're almost done here. We have a pick list in the admin. So print a pick list by product or order, including SKUs, quantities, product images to speed up fulfillment via the Shopify Order Printer app. So here's our pick list in the Shopify Order Printer app. This is a made and developed app by Shopify. It's interesting because it actually kind of went through a major update a few months ago, maybe closer to a year ago. I guess that's not really relevant now, but as we can see, this is maybe for in-person locations or people who have their products and their inventory with them. And so from this app, you can do a lot of things. You can print invoices, you can print packing slips, you can do a lot of things with like shipping, but this is only relevant really to you if you have your products on hand. You can transfer tracking for multiple shipments. So track a single inventory transfer in multiple shipments. So this is talking about inventory transfers. Inventory transfers mean transferring inventory from one location to another location. This doesn't really have to do with anything with customers. We have a consolidated view for delivery methods. So we can manage shipping, local delivery, in-store pickup points for each location in a single view to easily activate, deactivate, or configure options. So we can see what this will look like here. Shipping is on. Pickup in store is on, local delivery is off, shipping to pickup points is on, and this is for the Miami pop-up location. So it's pretty streamlined. That looks pretty simple and easy to use. Interesting update here that says you can now bulk print 250 shipping labels that save time. That's a lot of shipping labels. That's a lot of orders. If you're bulk printing 250 shipping labels at once, your business is doing really, really well. And if that streamlines things, that's even better. So we're talking about here in this big section here, it's talking about what we talked about right at the beginning. You can charge a customer a single flat rate when items ship from multiple locations with a single shipping profile. So we can see there's 2 shipments in this customer's order, and the system is now producing just a single $10 flat rate or a single $15 flat rate here. And this is found within the United States domestic shipping zone for these 2 fulfillment locations. So what it's saying here is if this order is arriving in 2 shipments because half of the order is found in this Brooklyn location and half of the order is found in this Los Angeles location, it would previously just sort of try to do all sorts of things, honestly. This is just so overly complicated for no reason. It would sometimes try to like combine this shipping rate or find the best rate or show multiple rates at checkout. And now this is a much needed update, in my opinion, flat rates for multi-location orders. And this also helps if you're using multiple suppliers, because multiple suppliers will have multiple locations that need to work together seamlessly from the customer's point of view. Interesting little update here. There's new carriers for Shopify shipping. Fulfill orders faster with Purelator in Canada and SEUR in Spain and BRT in Italy, which is interesting. Again, we're seeing sort of this just expansion of a lot of products that weren't really expanding for the longest time. Shopify Payments is expanding to a lot more countries. Shopify Shipping is expanding to a lot more countries, but in this update, more carriers within those countries. Like this Purelator one isn't brand new. It's just because for some reason in Canada Post, the domestic like mail service for Canada, I swear they go on strike every few months or something. So there was a huge Canada Post strike not too long ago. And so to help with that, Shopify introduced this sort of partnership with Shopify Shipping with Purelator. Because before you only had, like for Canada, you had Canada Post, and if they were on strike, the only other option was UPS. And then now they've added a third one, which is Purelator, which can help with this, because I'm pretty sure they're going on strike again, but we'll see what happens. And the last one of the day is this section on operations. Refund to store credit. Issue refunds as store credit directly in the admin, regardless of the original payment method. So as we can see, this is the final screen of the refund workflow. So we see 2 items. Once it switches 2 items, the tax, and this is the refund total. And then you can select the original payment method, the store credit, or both. And then you can add it there, which is fine. It's nice. I'm not sure if it, that's fine, I suppose. There's a massive, massive screen here for kind of a sort of a smaller update, but there's nothing wrong with that. Operations is sort of Shopify code for everything else, right? So we see a bunch of little updates here. Edit subscription orders, modify orders that contain subscriptions and pre-orders before shipping. This little update is for Plus only. New web performance reports. So optimize your core web vitals by diving into detailed page level analytics to diagnose performance issue. So core web, this is kind of actually an interesting little update. Core web vitals is how your pages and your websites load, how fast they load, how slow they load, how fast the largest content loads, if anything jitters upon load, and these sort of things. These core web vitals are actually brought to us from Google, but it sounds like there's more information that can be found. This is found if you just go to your themes, like your online store sales channel, right at the top, right below the theme, right above the theme editor, there's like a section here for your speed scores and your core web vitals. So this just says there's more details on the page level analytics of that. There's more features in the new analytics. So access more analytic features in the updated experience, including benchmarks, customer cohort analysis, and reports like that. And then a new connecting third-party domain guide. Easily connect your domain to Shopify store with a step-by-step guidance and real-time feedback during setup. That's actually an interesting one because there's so many different ways you can buy a domain. Broadly, you can either buy it from Shopify or you can buy it from a third party. But the third party, there's hundreds or thousands of domain hosts. And so it's funny because, it's better for Shopify if you buy the domain from Shopify, but Shopify isn't a domain hosting platform only. There's a lot of platforms out there that only host and sell domains, and so they have a lot of sales on these things. Always remember that when you buy a domain, the initial purchase price a lot of the time can be on sale by these parties, but the refund always costs a lot more. So always be sure to look at the fine print. Not the refund, the renewal. Domains have to be renewed every single year. The renewal is almost always more expensive than the original purchase. So just be aware of that if you're shopping around because you think buying a domain from Shopify is too expensive. A lot of the time it's not, and a lot of the time it can kind of consolidate all your work to one platform. But it sounds like there's this new connecting third-party domain guide, which is fun, but connecting a third-party domain isn't too bad. You just look at the A record and the C name record, and that hasn't changed, and that's not going to change. This is a fun little update. It's only available to the US right now, but as we know, Shopify update comes out in specific language, comes out in specific country, and it sort of rolls out over time. But tap to pay on mobile. You can accept contactless payments directly on your phone. Now that tap to pay has expanded from the POS to the Shopify mobile app. So this is sort of combining the admin, your payment gateway, POS, and the mobile app. And so you can collect a payment from one person's phone to your phone. That's actually kind of crazy technology. I know other countries already have this technology, but it's crazy how we're still talking about rounding out the pennies in some countries. No more pennies, rounding up, rounding down. And then in some situations, you can just tap one phone to another phone and you just got $246. It's pretty cool. I like that. And then as you can see here on the right side, the Shopify mobile app looks completely different. Again, they always do this. They always update these things. Usually every editions, they make these updates. It's not a big deal. But it sort of looks more like the website admin, in my opinion. I've never run a store completely just from the mobile app. Some people do, I've heard of. But there is a little update here. Fewer taps, clear menus, redesigned headers, and these sort of things. Again, smarter, faster admin loading. This is sort of always advertised at these editions, so that's good to hear. Clear navigational paths, dedicated settings search. This was introduced a few months ago. This is an interesting one that's kind of hidden. Expanded Shopify tax automated filings. So you can leverage Shopify tax automated filings to simplify sales tax management for additional channels, including Shop, Facebook, and Instagram. Ooh. Wow, this is I'm glad I saw this one so I could tell you what this means. So Shopify Tax is Shopify's tax product to help collect and remit and taxes and these sort of things. It's very different depending on what you're selling. It's very, very different depending on where you are as well and where you're selling to. But the problem with selling on multiple sales channels is that when you sell on another sales channel, for instance, Facebook or Instagram, the tax is charged not based on your Shopify settings anymore, but on your Facebook and Instagram setting. So this is one of the challenges of expanding to new sales channels. Of course, you can use like Facebook or Instagram to market your stores, but if you actually want to sell on that platform, on it, you have to kind of go through these settings. And so Shopify Tax is now expanded a little bit here for automatic filing. You can leverage Shopify Tax automatic filing to simplify sales tax management for additional channels, including Shop and Facebook and Instagram. I find that a very small little update, but I feel like that'll help a lot of people. Shopify Capital is now available in Germany. That's cool because I was pretty sure Shopify Capital is about, loans. It's about credit. It's about these things, all these financial products that Shopify has. But I'm pretty sure it's only ever been only available in the US. And this, I think, is the first expansion to another country that I've ever seen. Access fast funding with flexible repayment to help grow your business without lengthy approval process or credit checks with Shopify Capital. Keeping these things within the Shopify ecosystem. We have a few more capital updates here. This is a very fascinating one. Import data from more platforms. You can upload CSVs to easily import your products, customers, and inventory from platforms like Square, WooCommerce, Etsy, Wix, Amazon, eBay, Clover, and Lightspeed are an X series. So this is fun. This says Get App here, and it introduces a brand new app again for Shopify for importing all of your information to Shopify. I'm pretty sure the Shopify CSV files, the product CSV, the customer CSV, all the different CSV files is the same format, because one of the biggest issues is, you ask your supplier maybe for a product CSV and you can't upload it to Shopify because it has to be in the Shopify CSV format in order for it to upload properly. There are a few third-party apps that can help do that, but this is interesting because it looks like this Shopify made and developed app is made specifically so that you can much more easily change from, Square or WooCommerce or Etsy or Wix or Amazon and bring all your information to Shopify much more easily. That's a great update, I think. I feel like maybe that should be higher up, but of course, Shopify competing with all these other world brands. We see some updates here, as we always see every single month on the changelog. There's a bunch of flow updates. As we can see, this is sort of maybe streamlining the way a flow is created. Workflows are created by a lot more simplicity. which is kind of nice. And then that's it. We have some information here on developer stuff, and I'm not really going to go into developer stuff too deeply, but it's sort of interesting to see how developer stuff works. Developers are the ones that create the themes. Developers are the ones that create the third-party apps. So we don't really cover this stuff on this channel, but it's sort of interesting to see sometimes any updates that come into developer stuff. A lot of this stuff is very overwhelming if you have no idea what we're looking at, which is not a big deal. But if you look through it, there is, some things like simplified built for Shopify design requirements. Maybe this is even going to change the way it looks. So built for Shopify is a status that just kind of shows with this diamond. This isn't really new. It looks like this, actually. There it is. On an app that meets Shopify's highest requirements in terms of speed and ease of use and simplicity, and if it uninstalls cleanly and these sort of things. So if you're interested in those sort of things and how apps get to the App Store, what they have to have, what their requirements are, what the built for Shopify badge actually means, you can sort of look into these things. We can see that, apps need trusted reviews, just like stores need trusted reviews, and low quality or suspicious reviews aren't really helpful. We can see some information on how an app goes through submission and requirements for app stores, not for it to be on the App Store, but also for it to use with the Shopify theme store. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play this game, this Play Horizon Drive game, and maybe do a bigger debrief of what I think about summer editions, what I think is coming to the platform after looking at it through my stores. But that's it. Just do a slow scroll here again to see all the updates. But I really hope this was valuable. Thanks everybody for watching. Like I said on this channel, I'm a Shopify entrepreneur for almost a decade now, and I love helping the next generation of Shopify entrepreneurs, helping Shopify entrepreneurs take their first steps. And when summer editions or Shopify editions comes around, this is a big deal. 150 plus updates, the biggest, baddest updates that's coming to the platform now, in the future, what's to come, where Shopify is looking. We also have this one that still isn't updated here, and it's going to unlock on June 12th. So I'll be sure to make a video of that. I swear that looks like a potato to me. If you want to buy a product from Shopify, you can buy it there. If you play Roblox, look into the Roblox thing. Let me know how that goes. But I really hope this was valuable. I think I'll do a few more videos on this editions. So subscribe for more. If you're a Shopify entrepreneur and you want to join a free community of like-minded Shopify entrepreneurs as we all chase the same dream, especially with all these new updates coming out, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you do, I'll see you in the next video.